Hello, all my Fort Herod area homemakers. My name is Tara Duty, and I am the Family and Consumer Sciences Extension Agent in Mercer County. Today, we're going to be going over the Selecting Sheets Leader lesson prepared for us by Jeannie Badgett, the Senior Extension Associate for Clothing, Textiles, and Household Equipment. So, does anyone here sleep on sheets by chance? That's a good thing. That means this lesson applies to you. Do you like your sheets to feel a certain way? Maybe ironed and crisp, soft and cozy. Can you think of your favorite set of sheets? Do you have a certain pair of sheets you like to put on when the weather changes? Does anyone here dislike flannel sheets? Me. Things that we like or dislike about the feel of our sheets usually relate to the fiber content and the way that the sheets are constructed. Our lesson today will help us understand more about this. If you're here thinking I'm going to tell you the perfect pair of sheets to go out and buy for your bed, you are wrong. This is all based on preferences, and I'm going to explain how you can decide your preference today. So, goals for today. We will start by briefly defining the fibers and yarns as they relate to sheets. Fibers refer to the fiber content, such as whether these sheets are made up of cotton or polyester. And then next, we'll identify the fabric construction in our sheets. This is another way of saying, is the fabric woven or knit? Then we'll talk about the thread content and explain how thread count is calculated. Finally, we'll make the connection between fibers, fabrics, and threads and the impact those properties have on the feel and the performance of our sheets. Fibers are the tiny hair-like structures that make up yarns and fabric. This slide shows us fibers on the left are part of the yarns there in the middle that are woven into the fabric on the right. In the case of our lesson today, the fabric is sheets. We'll keep this lesson simple by stating that there are two main fiber types, natural and manufactured, also known as handmade or synthetic. An example of a natural fiber is cotton, as pictured on the left here, and an example of a manufactured fiber is polyester, pictured there on the right. These each have their own properties and characteristics, one of which is fiber length, which is staple and filament, depicted on the lower half of our slide. Staple length fibers are short, although there are longer varieties of staple fibers such as Pima cotton and Egyptian cotton. Filament fibers are long, polyester or nylon. Fishing line is another example of a filament length fiber. These fibers can be long because of the way they are manufactured. And just a note, silk is a filament fiber, although it is a natural fiber and not a human-made fiber. Microfiber is not a fiber content. It refers to the size or the fineness of a fiber. Microfibers are human-made and finer than a single strand of human hair. Microfiber sheets are usually made from polyester and/or rayon. The photo on the slide is a close-up of a 100% polyester sheet marketed as microfiber. Consumers may like the feel and performance of these sheets, but some find that the sheets can feel hot. And just a fun fact about microfiber is that microfiber cloths are usually made from 80% polyester and 20% nylon. Here are some fiber contents commonly found in sheets: cotton, linen, which is technically flax, silk, bamboo and rayon, and polyester. Each of these have their own set of pros and cons, and some are listed here. When selecting sheets, It's helpful to identify the fiber content as it is noted on the care label or fiber content description, because sometimes the package description may say cotton rich, but only have 60% cotton content, or the package description says microfiber, which, as we just learned, is made of polyester or nylon. A note about bamboo and rayon. Rayon is a semi-synthetic fiber made from wood pulp. Sometimes the wood pulp is bamboo. When sheets are labeled as bamboo, chances are the fiber content is rayon. Just select what appeals to you based off of these pros and cons. Fibers are spun or twisted into yarns. Fibers can be twisted tightly or loosely, creating a high twist or a low twist. High twist yarns may appear more smooth and feel silkier. Low twist yarns may snag or pill because there are more loose fiber ends that can break off. The feel of sheets relates to the yarn quality, which relates to the fiber quality. For example, not all cotton yarns are the same. Some are made with longer, smoother Pima cotton fibers. Some are made with shorter, rougher, regular cotton fibers. And it's important to note that yarns can be single ply or have multiple plies. That's when strands are twisted together. We'll talk about this more when we discuss thread count. Fabrics are created when yarns are either woven or knit together. Woven fabrics, yarns are interlaced at right angles. They go over and under each other. Wovens have limited stretch and may wrinkle easily. A bandana is made from woven fabric. Knit fabrics, yarns are interlooped, providing some stretch. T-shirts and sweatshirts are made of knit fabric. There are non-woven textiles too. Examples of non-wovens are felt, baby wipes, and paper towels. Most sheets are made of woven fabric. T-shirt sheets are made of knit fabrics. Because most sheets are made from woven fabric, we'll focus on this. There are several kinds of woven fabric. The order or arrangement in which the yarns are interlaced creates different weave types. Some examples are plain, sateen, and twill. Plain weave is a simple over-under construction. The sheets with a plain weave are sometimes referred to as percale. Percale sheets are known for their crisp feel. A sateen weave is when the yarns in the crosswise direction, so left to right, float over the up and down yarns. Sateen sheets are very popular due to their soft, silky feel. A twill weave is used for fancier sheets with stripes or plaids woven into the design. You can see these pictured on the screen. Flannel refers to a fabric type. So mechanical brushing on the sheet surface pulls up the fibers from the ground fabric. So the ground fabric simply refers to the woven fabric underneath the fuzzy flannel finish. The ground fabric may be a plain weave or a twill weave. Flannel sheet fabrics are often comprised of 100% cotton fibers, but sometimes contain polyester too. The soft, fuzzy fibers add thickness and insulation. Flannel is not the same thing as plaid or checkered, although people often refer to an oversized button front shirt featuring a plaid or checkered design as a flannel. The word flannel has nothing to do with the design or the pattern on the shirt. Instead, flannel is referring to the woven fabric with a brushed fuzzy surface. Let's talk about thread count, finally. You'll want to have your understanding thread count handout nearby. Thread count is the number of yarns in 1 square inch of fabric. This includes the yarns going in the up and down and side to side directions. When we lay on our bed in the normal head to toe direction, that is the same direction as the warp yarns. For knit sheets, the thread count equivalent is called fabric count. The sample here has a thread count of 29. This would be a very low thread count for sheets, as the average thread count for sheets is around 250 or higher. You may have heard that thread count is an indicator of quality when it comes to sheets, but that's not necessarily true. The fiber and yarn quality also play an important role. Thread count can be used as a guide and may be helpful when choosing sheets. However, thread count should not be the deciding factor. We'll learn why in the next few slides. A linen tester is used to calculate the thread count of sheets. Linen testers have a flat, square opening with millimeter and inch measurements that is attached to a hinged magnifying glass. We look through the magnifier to view the fabric underneath the square opening. The photos on the left and the right are of the same piece of fabric. However, in each photo, the linen tester is set on different edges of the fabric in order to easily count the thread ends. Thread count is sometimes inflated or exaggerated as a result of counting the individual plies in multi-ply yarns. This is what happens in the marketing of 1,000 plus thread count sheets, when threads are comprised of very fine multi-ply yarns. The image on the left demonstrates how a 9-ply yarn could potentially be counted as 9 threads instead of the correct count of 1 thread. Listed here are average thread counts for the types of sheets. Remember that thread count is the number of yarns in the up and down direction plus the number of yarns in the side to side direction within 1 square inch. A note about microfiber sheets. They are most accurately characterized by the fabric weight per square meter, or the GSM, which is grams per square meter, instead of thread count. Because microfibers are so fine, there may be 1,000 per square inch, which is not a realistic comparison to the composition of other sheets. The yarn size or fineness can impact thread count. Finer, smoother yarns can be woven more tightly. This leads to a higher thread count, which is why some consumers consider a higher thread count sheet better. But it's more about the quality of the fibers and the yarns, which impacts consumer preferences. Lower thread count sheets may be cooler because there is more space for airflow. But if the thread are made of polyester fiber, the sheets may feel warmer because polyester holds on to heat. The photos on the slide are a close-up of a 50-50 cotton polyester plain weave 200 thread count sheet on the top photo, and the bottom photo is a close-up of a 65% cotton 35% rayon sateen weave with a 220 thread count sheet. They are photographed at the same magnification power. Based on the yarn size, weave structure, and fiber content, do you think one is more breathable than the other? Take a look at the photos and decide for yourself. How many of you have had sheets that pill? So sheets are exposed to rubbing and abrasion during use and in the washer. Pilling occurs when loose fibers break from the yarns and become ensnarled on the other short fibers on fabric surfaces. This happens more often with sheets made from lower quality fibers and yarns. Sheets made with longer, smoother, higher quality fibers and yarns are less likely to have fibers break off and catch on the fabric. Sheets made with looser weaves or sateen weaves are more likely to pill because the loose, short yarns may catch on objects. Think rough skin, loose pajamas, and other clothing, and break, causing those fiber pills. The feel of sheets is a combination of fiber content, yarn quality, the weave type, and the thread count. The ideal feel or feeling of sheets is a personal preference. Some consumers enjoy fuzzy, warm flannel sheets, while other consumers like cool, crisp, percale sheets. Be sure to carefully read the package or the product description and look for information on the fiber content. Remember that thread count does not always indicate the quality of the sheets. For example, two different brands of 300 thread count 100% cotton sheets woven in a plain weave may feel very different if the cotton fibers are of different lengths or types. Sometimes you won't know if you like the sheets until you use them. It's best to wash brand new sheets before you use them. Therefore, you'll want to understand their return policy. If you get stuck with sheets you don't like, donate them or use them as dust covers, picnic blankets, or use for fabric in upcycle projects. Before we wrap up, let's quickly discuss washing our sheets. For good hygiene, change and wash your sheets at least every 2 weeks. Sleepers who sweat a lot at night may choose to change or wash their sheets more often. For the best results and to allow the washer and dryer to run most efficiently, wash your sheets separately from your towels and other items. This is because towels absorb more water than sheets, affecting how the washer and dryer sensors work. Follow the care label for washing instructions. If the care label is faded or missing, wash in warm water on the bedding or heavy-duty setting. Do not overload the washing machine. Fill it a maximum of 2/3 full. Thank you all for participating today. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them down below in the comments section. For more information about sheets, you can check out this 2-part Talking Facts podcast by scanning the QR code below. And here are the references used to create this presentation. I hope you all have a great day, and we'll see you soon.